Hi everyone, my name's Karen and I'm a lecturer here at South Devon College in the hairdressing department. We've been asked to do a video and maybe do a video about fringes. Okay, so fringes and hair cutting of fringes is something that generally I don't recommend that you do at home. Okay, it's something that can cause lots and lots of problems. We can cause all sorts of collateral damage to the rest of the hair. We can go too short, but obviously during these times, these unprecedented times, some of us are getting to the stage where we really need to have our fringes cut, whether it's ourselves or our children or our partners. And so I thought if I can give you a few tips of what to do and what not to do, then hopefully we can tidy up our fringes, make ourselves look and feel a little bit better, be able to see, and do that without causing too much damage. Okay, the first thing you need to think about is what equipment are you going to need. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need is obviously a pair of scissors. Nice pair of scissors. Now, this is something that not everybody's going to have at home. Now, using the scissors that you cut the carpet with last week, or maybe the scissors that you cut the bacon with this morning, maybe are not the right scissors to be using, okay? If they're the only thing you've got and if they're the only thing that you can get hold of, then see how they go. The probability is that they're not going to cut through the hair, okay? I had a quick look on Amazon, eBay before I did this morning, and you can pretty much pick up a pair of scissors from about £5 to about £25. Now, they're not going to be the greatest scissors, but what they will do is they'll be enough just to cut that little fringe. So what I'd say is go for the best that you can afford if you can manage to get your hands on some, and they'll probably do the job a little bit better. Okay, so if you can grab yourself some scissors, that would be great. Proper scissors, that would be great. Next thing we need is a comb. That's going to be very helpful. And then maybe a couple of section clips or something so that we can clip the hair out of the way, the hair that we don't want to touch. As well as that, we're going to need a gown or something to towel just to cover ourselves up. You don't want hair really sticking in your clothes. If once it gets in your clothes, it's really hard to get out, and they tend to stick in you for a long time. So definitely keep yourself covered when we're doing it. So that's our PPE covered. If this is a child's haircut that you're going to do, please take note. As parents, I'm quite sure that you know that your children move. I don't think you quite realise how much your children move until you try and cut their hair, okay? Children really wriggle, so be organised. We'll probably need to do it quite quickly if it's done on a child, because the likelihood is they're not going to have the concentration to sit there for very long. And maybe one other thing you might need just in case. I've been doing this a long time, and if I ever cut my fingers, it's usually whilst I'm cutting a child's hair, because they do tend to wriggle. So last thing, just in case, grab yourself a plaster and leave that on the side. I'm going to recommend that you cut your hair dry. Okay, so the first thing that, the best thing that you could do to start off with is to wash your hair, dry and style it in the style that you're going to wear it, and then leave it just for a few hours just to settle, because as we all know, throughout the day, when we first dry it and straighten it and do whatever we do with it, it's very different to how it looks an hour later. By the time we've got out and about or we've been in the sun, it tends to settle and fall into the shape that we tend to wear it for most of the day. Now, we want to be cutting our fringe from that shape. If we cut the fringe when it's wet, what happens is when the hair gets wet, it stretches, and it really stretches quite a long way. So if I'm looking at my fringe and I'm looking at how much I need to cut off, actually, it's not too much. If that piece of hair was wet and stretched down, it's going to come probably down to the bottom of my nose. Now, if I then cut that all the way up here, as soon as that hair dries, what's going to happen is that fringe is going to go really short. Okay, so that's why dry hair is the best way to cut it. Okay, the next thing we need to look at, a couple of hours later, once we've realised, okay, this is how our hair is lying throughout the day, we need to look at what shape of fringe we need to put in, okay? Is your fringe all the way across straight? Does it come across and is shaped down slightly at the sides? Or is it like mine, which is a side fringe coming down? Okay, and when it's in its state like this, in its natural relaxed state, we can see actually how much we need to come off. Okay, so with mine, I can see I probably need about that much off just to stop it from going in my eyes. At the moment, it's really, really long. Okay. The next step is to section off the fringe area. Okay, so we don't want to be taking too much into that fringe area. We definitely don't want to be pulling it forward. We only need to be cutting just a little bit at the front so we can see. So for mine, I'm going to section, you can see mine comes down one side here and round the other side there. So I'm going to pull all this section back, keep it right out of the way, because I definitely don't want to be cutting that. I don't want anything to be going in. One of the biggest problems of home cutting of hair is bringing in too much from the side. Okay, so only cut that section that we need to cut. So with my section clips, once again, I'm making myself look glamorous and putting it right back out of the way. So we're only cutting that small fringe area. Okay, so the first one we're going to go through is a straight fringe. So if I was cutting a straight fringe, I'm going to need to comb all the hair forward. Okay, and the first section I'm going to work on is the middle section. So I'm just going to pull both sides out. It's going to get a nice little section from the front. I'm going to comb that all the way down. Okay, but I'm not going to be stretching it. I don't want to be stretching it at all, so I don't want to be putting any tension on there. And I'm going to rest my fingers just on the bridge of my nose. Okay, so there's two ways this can be done. We can either use our scissors and snip very gently all the way across, just making sure our fingers are straight the whole time. The other way we can do it, if you're feeling a little bit more confident, would be do something called point cutting, which is where we would go in on a slight diagonal and cut across. Okay, so that would leave more of a jagged effect, which would probably give a slightly softer look. Okay, so if you can manage to do that, that would be really good. Okay, once we've cut that, so I'm not going to cut this because I'm cutting it into a side fringe. I'm just showing you the straight fringe to start off with. Okay, and then going to let go, and I'm going to just let the hair fall in its natural way and see if that's going to be short enough for us. Okay, if it's not short enough, then we just do exactly the same again. So we'll grab the section, pull it down, hold it really gently in your hands, just go slightly higher. Little is a lot more sometimes. Just take the tiniest bit more across as we snip across, and then let it go. Lift it a little bit, let it fall in its natural way until you get that length right. You can always take more off. You can't stick it back on when it's gone, okay? Once we've done that front section, we're then going to take a little bit of what we've cut already to use as our guide, and we're going to pull the next section down. And we're just going to use with the tips of our fingers, find the guideline that we've done. Then we need to look in the mirror, make sure that our fingers are lovely and straight. Make sure we've got the same tension, so we've not stretched it too much. Okay, we're then going to work our way across. Once we've done one side, we're going to move over to the other. So we're going to take a little bit of what we've cut already. We're then going to comb this down, hold it, making sure we've got the right tension, checking in the mirror to make sure our fingers are straight. And then once again, we're either going to go across or we're going to snip very gently in a diagonal. After each time you've done it, just look in the mirror, lift it, let the hair fall, and you'll see. Now, you don't want to be going too short at all. Just take enough off that you need, and once you've done this a few times, you'll find you're actually getting quite good at it. Okay. Next one we're going to look at is shaping it around. okay? So we're going to do the middle bit in exactly the same way. So we're just going to take the middle panel, pull that down, take the length off to where we need it to be, check that that's okay. Then when we take our next section, we're going to find the guideline that we've already cut with the end of our fingers, and then we're going to very gently angle our finger, okay? Now, what angle you do on one side, you're going to have to do on the other side. So please take note of that angle, okay? Then we're going to come back, we're going to look in, and we're going to go exactly the same, and we're going to work our way across, okay? Once we've done that, check it, make sure that that's okay. And then the other side, so we'll take the same amount of hair with a tiny little bit of what we've cut already, so we can find that area, and then we're going to very gently angle our finger down on that side, okay? We'll then snip, 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 okay, up to that area. Once we've done that, hopefully we've got a really good shape, and that should be enough to get you through or see you through for the next few weeks. So after that, the next one I need to do, we're actually going to cut my fringe now, is cut in my side fringe. Right, so with mine, I can see when my hair falls into its shape, this side comes down here. So I'm going to be working on this side first, okay? So I know I only need to be taking off about a centimetre, centimetre and a half. So I'm going to work from the middle section. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the angle that my hair has been actually cut. And if you look, my hair has been cut in that shape, on that angle. So I'm going to be going in, and where, rather than having my fingers straight, I'm going to be pulling my fingers down just slightly, okay? And then I'm going to follow that down and follow the same angle just below to get that shape on a slight diagonal coming this way. And then I'll take a little bit of that, and I'm going to do the same on the other side, okay? Here goes. Get my natural fall. I'm going to pull the hair down. I'm going to find that angle. I'm going to see, just check the length. Make sure the length is enough for me to take off. And then I'm going to go in with my scissors. I'm going to do a slight diagonal. I'm going to work up, just taking off the amount that I need, okay? Hair on my nose. And then just going to pull it up and check. Yep, that's quite a good length. Okay, so I'm going to go from this end a little bit more and pull a little bit more of that hair into it. Okay, I'm going to follow the angle that I've already cut. So I can see, I'm just going to meet that hair, and I'm just going to take that corner off again. So I'm going to go in again on a slight angle and take that off. Perfect. Looks just enough just to take it off my eyelashes, because that's where it's been annoying me. Okay, so one side done, here he goes. Okay, then we're going to move on to the other side. So I'm going to take this shortest bit of section here. I'm going to use that as my guide for it to come down on this angle. Okay, ready? Next bit down, taking a little bit, finding the angle, making sure that my angle is correct. Okay, I'm not going to cut anything until I know that angle's correct. Then I'm going to be going down, taking that corner off. Okay, so now I'm just going to let the hair fall, see how it's sitting. I think that's okay. Let's have a look. Take my lovely section clips out, pull it down, and hopefully this should all blend in. And ta-da! I can now see Lovely. So just a few tips just to go over. Make sure you do the hair dry. Okay, that's really important. Make sure that you don't stretch the hair too much. Okay, when you're doing it, don't put too much tension on. Okay, less is more. You could always go back in and take a little bit more off. Okay, we definitely cannot stick it back on afterwards. It's probably not a good idea to do this with a glass of wine or gin or Tia Maria. And if you're wondering why, it's probably not a good idea to do that. Maybe next time you see Nikki Boone, our fabulous head of tutorial, maybe you should ask her why it's not a good idea to cut your fringe with a glass of wine. Okay. Anyway, it's been lovely to speak to you all. I hope I've helped. I hope, if nothing else, it will just see you for the next few weeks until we will be looking forward to seeing you all back into our hairdressing salons. Can't wait for that. Take care. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye.